So, guys and girls, I am super excited to do this podcast today. Yeah, I'm recording on Tuesday, and we've just had the okay that we're in heads of terms with a site in Scotland. And the reason I want to do this podcast is because I think storage can change so many people's life. It's changed my life, and I want to show you how it can change yours. And many people say, I just can't afford it. You can. And here's how you can afford it. This is super, super duper exciting. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, in my newsletter, mrselfstorage.com, I am going to talk about this on Friday's show. So you have to be subscribed before Thursday evening, because I'll write it all Thursday evening. And on Friday, I'm going to put this document that I've got in the Friday's newsletter, just so you can see exactly what I've done. It's a Storer. So I use a Storer, the spreadsheet from Storer that they give. So just go to storer.co, I think it's a Google Storer. And at the bottom, you can just scroll down and you can find this sheet, not my sheet, but you can find a sheet for it. And yeah, it is. And what I'll do is, do you know what? I'll also put a link so everybody can see my workings out. So you can actually just sign in and you can see it, and you can see exactly how I am going to get an 81% return on my money, cash on cash. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And it's going to be, there's not going to be much risk for myself. Right. So let me first start off by telling you that I came across this site. Don't worry, John McGlynn, nowhere near your sites. I came across this site, and I know that the other container sites in the area are completely full. I've had this site, I've got a hit list of where I want to go in the UK, all the towns. I've got a list of all the towns, all the self-storages, and the websites, etc. So I can just quickly have a look at any town, the population, the amount of self-storage and stuff. My virtual assistants work for months on this. And no, I would never sell it. No, I would never give it away, because it's just all it is a lot of legwork. I've done a lot of legwork for it, and well, I haven't. I've paid other people to do the legwork for it, and it is a beautiful document. Absolutely love it. And so this site, I don't want to tell you exactly where it is yet, because all I can say is in Scotland, because we're only heads of terms. That means one of you numbnuts could come and outbid me. I don't want you to. And so, yeah. So basically, I wanted to, because Warren Buffett always says the first rule of investing is make sure that you don't lose money, basically. And the second rule of investing is see rule number 1. And so what I want to do is make sure that I don't lose any money from my future sites. I want to eliminate the risk as much as possible. So I've got a 20-year lease. However, within the first year, I will know if it's a goer for me. A goer as in if it's going to be something that I want to continue with. So 2 things. It's a long way away. It's 6 hours away from where I am. And so for anybody to get there, the closest person is 6 hours away. And so that's a hell of a long way. Can we really do it? Can we really be a manless site? And can we really operate never going down there, or very, very hardly ever going down there? Maybe, maybe not. I think we can, but we never ever know until we're in that situation. So can we operate the site? Because it's going to take over a day to get there. That is a long ass way. And the reason I think you can is because in America, I'm in the I'm in the mastermind in America for self-storage. And they always say, if you can drive in a day, it's local. So they class this as local self-storage. It's only because of our limiting beliefs, what we've subconsciously been told to believe in this country, that you can't operate a self-storage company if it's too far away. Why not? Imagine the opportunities if you went the length and breadth of the country. If you went 8 hours away, drive time 8 hours, that would open up the whole country for me to Scotland, Wales, and all of England. So why wouldn't I? Let's give it a go. Why not? And so I found this site. And so first of all, I've got a 1-year break clause, because I want to make sure that, one, can I realistically do it? Because I think I can, but who knows? So year break clause in there just to protect myself. And also, what happens if we don't sell very many, or what happens if something happens to the market there? I don't know. Whatever happened, it's never an absolute certainty. So you never know. We might not be able to sell in storage there, even though the other container site is full. So That's firstly. So firstly, we've got a safety net. So I know that we've got a safety net there. So I'm only going to be spending a year's rent. Also, I need it for 20 years. I need it for 20 years because, and I need it inside the act as well to make sure that I can continue renting it out, because I want to create value in the company. I want to be able to sell this company when I decide to. This company is built to sell. Well, whether I sell it or not, or pass it down to my kids, I don't know. But it's built to sell there anyway. And so with a short lease, it's not worth anything. It's not valuable enough. So, and also I've got an option to buy as well. I've got the first option to buy. So that doesn't mean that I'm definitely going to buy it. It means that when this comes up for sale, if it comes up for sale, I've got first rights. So that's big. That means that also makes a little bit of difference in your valuation. It gives you options. Right. So let's run through some numbers then. So what I've also got as well, I've just got key information here to go through. No rent for 3 months. So I can start this facility and pay no rent for 3 months, which is incredible. It's incredibly helpful for me, knowing full well that for the first 3 months, I don't have to pay a penny. The rent for the first year is going to be 13,500 because I get 3 months free. It's a little bit more than that because the guys come back and said, listen, I'm not sure about a 20-year lease. If it's 20-year lease, it needs to be a little bit more. So it's only slightly more than that. I think a couple of £100. Here's something that you probably won't get. I don't know, you might get, but you can ask. I get 3 to 6 months credit on my containers. because I think because of a podcast, and I asked for it. And so you don't get if you don't ask. And 2 companies have been falling on themselves to give me this. So yeah, amazing. I get credit on my containers. So I can actually put a container there and not pay for it for 3 to 6 months, depending on who I go with. 3 to 6 months, really, really good, powerful there. But for me, again, because it means that I don't have any setup costs, but also I've already got some containers approved for finance. I think it's 20 containers approved for finance. Have I got the information here? Oh, no, I've got 10 containers approved for finance for 5 years for £492 per month at the very, very most, because I just wanted to see how much it would roughly cost to make sure I did my numbers correctly. And so, yeah, I've already been pre-approved for finance. So when the 3 or 6 months comes to an end, I'm bearing in mind that if I don't have people inside them units there and then, I'll be absolutely devastated. So I've got 3 months basically to get some customers. So containers come, and I've got 3 months to fill them before I even have to start to get asset finance. But the asset finance is only £492. £492 per month for 10 containers. And so if we look here, so I get £30 plus VAT. So I'm only going small. I'm not going for a large amount because the containers are very cheap at the minute. I think the containers are just over £2,000 delivered. Just over 2,200, I think it is delivered, which is really, really good. And they might come down. Who knows? So for each container, and I've wrote all this down on this sheet of paper as well, because I've gone through my numbers with a fine-tooth comb. Hopefully you're getting some. Hopefully this is helping you somewhat. I know it's scatty all the way around, but I will put a link in. I will put a link in on my newsletter, and you can see everything I've written down. So £30 plus we charge a minimum of £7. So £30 plus VAT is £36. So that's per week. And that's a relative, that's going to be the lowest in the area as well. So that's £30 plus insurance. So let's say we charge £7,000 insurance, which is £6. I don't know. I think it's around that. So we get £36 times by 52. That means we get £1,872 per container a year once full. Divided by 12, we get £156 for a container per month. And then so for 10 containers, when we do rent out 10 containers, we've got to pay £492 rental to the asset finance, but 10 containers actually gives us £1,560 worth. And don't forget, this is without any revenue management. This is without increasing prices after 3 months. And this is taking the minimum amount of insurance, we will take £1,560 minimum for every 10 containers, and we pay back 492. This is a monthly basis, monthly like for like. So for every 10 containers, we gain £1,068 cash flow. That is wonderful cash flow. And so let's not forget, for the first 3 to 6 months, if we hire them units out, for every 10 containers, we are getting over £1,500 that we've got nothing to pay for. It's only after 3 to 6 months that we will have to start paying for asset finance. But the beauty about it is it's cash flowing already. So we're actually increasing our cash flow. And we've got rent-free as well for 3 months, because it's super important how you structure these deals. Because what I wanted to get across is that I want to open this site with £20,000. I don't want to pay any more than £20,000. My solicitor's fees are going to be £2,000, no more than that. Let's have a look what we've got down here for costs. So I've got $7,500 that I planned for electric gate. I don't think it'll be anywhere near that. This site has already got tarmac. It's already got palisade fencing. So yes, it's hard to get these sites, but they do exist. You can find them. It's just a matter of boots on the ground, looking around, driving for dollars, driving for self-storage, it's called in America, or literally going through all the listings everywhere. And yeah, it's hard work. It's bloody boring. You can get a virtual assistant to do it for you, but I don't. I do it myself, and I spend an ungodly amount of time. But every now and again, you will find a site like this. There's another site I found like this as well, but it's got a lot of competition, and the rent is a lot more. So I've got £7,500 for the gates. Signage and painting, I've put 5,000. It will be nowhere near 5,000, but I wanted to make sure. I put legal fees 3,000, so we're at 15,500 there. There's no rates. There's no rates because it's below the rateable value in Scotland. That is incredible. So straight away, brilliant. We're okay. We're happy. Monthly costs I've got here. Site management, nothing. But you'll be able to book online and we'll display prices. So ideally, we don't want many calls. We want people just to book because we are going to be the cheapest. I'm a big advocate of booking online if you are the cheapest, if you are containers. Where I'm not a big advocate of booking online is when you're not the cheapest. Like, for example, Willoughby is the most expensive storage in Hull. And why are we? Because we're the best storage. But I need the opportunity to tell people why we're different to other people, other self-storage facilities. Marketing, I've put £500. I don't think we'll even spend that because there's no pay-per-clicks in this area. And I'm pretty certain that we can rank #1 within 6 months on Google. And straight away, I'm going to be putting up a page now, and it's going to be probably 2 months before we can open. And so for legal, 6 to 8 weeks. And so I reckon Google will index my page pretty quickly, and hopefully within 3 to 6 months, I'll be #1. So I don't even think it's that. I put cleaning fees, £100. Pretty certain there won't be £100 cleaning fees a month. Site insurance, I don't know. I've gone for £300. Telephone, there's going to be no telephone, just electricity. I've put £200. I'm basing that on Beverly. We pay less than that at Beverly, so I'm presuming it'll be that. And accountancy, straightforward again. I don't think it's going to be much. And so my monthly outgoings here, I've got so much information here. And I can fit 22,400 square foot of lettable space. So let's go down this column here. This column here. 1, the people watching the video can't see what this column is. And 2, the people listening to the podcast have no idea what this column here is. So nobody knows, only me. Right. So this column basically says I've got 22,400 maximum of lettable space. That's what I can fit in. And that's without going on top with toppers, which I may or may not do, because obviously with toppers, you get a less return because they are a lot more expensive. However, Willbox are very passionate about me trying these bloody toppers. So I might have to. The annual revenue per square foot, I put £9.75. That is the bare minimum we will do. We will do much, 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 much more than that, because we will be able to increase people's revenue as and when they've been in 3 months and every 9 months after that. So that is a bare minimum. And we might increase the prices to be exactly like everybody else in the local area. So the eventual occupancy, I put 85% because I don't think you'll ever be full, or you shouldn't be ever full in a self-storage facility. So 85% full, I'm pretty comfortable with that. I think we'll be 85% full, no problem. So we only work out that 22 out of 22,400 will only ever be 85% full. I want to fill to get that 85% mark within 2 years. That means I have to fill 793 square foot per month. 793 divided by 160. It means that there's got to be 5 containers rented out a month. That is it, 1 a week. If we can't do that, then we've got a game 1 a week. If we can't do that, then there's something wrong. We've only just started putting containers in Wrexham, and we've filled 13 already, and it hasn't been 13 weeks. So we've done incredibly well. And let's not forget, we're not only selling outdoor storage at Wrexham, we're selling indoor storage as well. So we're almost competing against each other. We've got one offering here, and that's outdoor storage. The rent per square foot, it only works out this is to help out on the mathematical side of it. Monthly costs, I've basically said there's going to be £1,200 monthly costs. We've gone through that before. £500 marketing, £300 site insurance, £200 electricity, maybe £100 extra for accounting fees, which there may or may not be. Monthly cleaning cost of £100. I don't think it's going to be more than £1,200 monthly fees. Payment processing fees, 1.5%. I think it is a little bit less than that, but let's say 1.5%. I've put here the fit outs per square foot is £13.75. That works out what price the containers are, etc. And so that gives me, after year 4, I get an 81% return, cash on cash on my money, which is beautiful. But that's not taking into consideration asset finance as well. So yeah, really, really good. It's a little bit broad, is that? I wouldn't read into that too much, because obviously there's asset finance. That's if you are paying upfront for everything straight away. One, I'm not paying upfront. I get 6 months rent, free rent, and the containers nearly pay for themselves within 12 months. So I almost can pay for the containers straight with 6 months rent free, with 6 months credit. I can pay for half a container. And so I can. So it's a beautiful business model, but that 81% kind of muddies the water somewhat. Let's have a look, see what else. So I put here £13,500 rent for the first year. I've worked out that in the first year, I will need 30 containers. That means I'll be spending £1,476 on asset finance. My running costs for the first year will be £14,400 in total. Is that in total? Let's have a look. Oh no, sorry. That's including running costs like marketing, etc. Yeah, because that's a £1,200. £1,200 times by 1,200. Yeah, it's 14,400. So the rent is 3,500. The running costs are 14,400. The asset finance is 1,476. This is if I state my projections of, well, it's less than 1 a week in the first year. So 30 containers, which I should fill no problem. That means that my running costs, let's have a look, according to below my revenue, is going to be 9,000. So my running cost per year is 2,000. At the end of year 1, my running costs are going to be £2,448 per month. That's what I've got. According to my below predictions, on 12 months, my revenue should be 9,282. So you can see that it's like £7,800 a month cash flowing after year 1. And that is £7,000 cash flowing, including paying off your asset finance as well. I mean, I'm going to run through these figures again to make sure I haven't ballsed it up somewhere, because, and I've had Dan Bradbury look at it, go through it with me. It just looks too good to be true. It's incredible. I mean, we do have a planning problem with this site, because they have earmarked it for housing, but the person who owns the site doesn't want to build housing, and it's already got planning. And so I've got my agent looking into it right now as we speak. So after year 1, like I say, the year 1 is £2,448 per month rental. Right, fine. It might be it'll be a little bit more going forward after that, because instead of 13,500 rent a year, we'll be paying the full price rather than the 3 months free, and so it's going to be a little bit more than that. However, according to the projections below, my revenue after month 12 will be 9,282, and don't forget, it'll be going up every single month as well, and that is with a bare minimum insurance and the spitting everywhere. I'm getting so excited. A bare minimum insurance and also the bare minimum of rental as well, because that's £9.75 per square foot, but we'll be going to increasing that all the time as well, in line with other operators in the area, but also doing our revenue management, which we're really, really good at. So straight away, there's over I'll tell you exactly, 9,282, take away 2,448 is 6,800. No, sorry, not 7,800. So let's say it's £6,000, because let's say things don't go according to plan, we don't rent out a store. Mind you, that's only 30 containers, and we're trying to rent out 5 a month. So yeah, we're way below where we're supposed to be there. 30 containers on finance. So, and I presume, it's not quite right, that, because it's saying that how many square foot will we have filled on year 12? Do you want to just double check something? So 160 times by 30 equals 4,800, 7,093. Yeah, it's not quite right, isn't that? Because it's only 30 containers, and it's saying here that we would have by 160. Yeah, it's saying we'd have like 50 containers. So it's not quite right. So we'd need some more asset finance. We'd probably need to double the asset finance amount, so to get 60 containers, just to make sure. So we'd have 2,800 rather than 1,400. So we can add another £1,400 to that. So 2,448 plus 1,400 is 3,848 a month running costs, but we are actually taking 9,282. So that means we are in profit by over £5,000 a month cash flowing. Right, here's where it gets exciting. When the site is full, we'll have 140 containers on asset finance, and that is 6,888 per month. The running costs are £3,000 a month. So that's the rent, the rate, there's no rates, so marketing costs, etc., which I don't think there'll be. And we've got no staffing associated to this site because it's only going to be a small site. And so the total costs for financing, like I say, are total costs, including financing, are £9,888 per month. So when it's all paid off, it will be only £3,000 running costs a month. Just double check that. So yeah, 14,000. Yeah, yep. Be less than that. Actually, less than that. So that's good. £1,200 a month. Which is 14,400, and say £20,000 rent, so it's 3,000. Yeah, so it's 3,400. We're saying 3,006. So we're 34,000. We're saying 36,000. So yeah, it'll be actually less than that running cost of £3,000 a month, which is good. And obviously that's £500 marketing. I don't think there'll be enough budget there to. It's a similar size to Beverly, and we don't pay anything on marketing because we don't need to. There's enough there to support all of us without anybody going crazy and doing pay-per-clicks. Although my competition are. But we're 90% full. We don't actually need to. We rank top. We get the quotes, etc. So we're okay at the minute. So the monthly costs, including finance, is £9,888 per month. Let's say 10 grand. The revenue, minimum revenue, would be 18,564. So this place, after year 2, will cash flow 8,500 a month, and it'll have cost me less than much less than 20k. 7,500 gate. No idea how much the gate costs, but I don't think it'll be that much because the gate's already in place there. We just need to jazz it up, make it electric. Say it's 10 grand. £5,000 signage. No way we're paying £5,000. Probably more like 2,000. £3,000 legal fees. I'm actually going to say, can you do it for 2,000 because it's a very straightforward job. There's no roller shutters. I don't believe there'll be any stamp duty. Maybe a little bit of stamp duty, but it's very, very small minimum because of the rental. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be a lot of setup fees. There's no improvement to the site because it's already concreted. There's maybe some cameras, CCTV, but I'm sure we can get that in with the signage and painting. So yeah, lights, put them beautiful lights on the containers, which aren't very much money. So yeah, we're gonna do it within 20 grand. And then within 24 months, this place will cash flow £8,000, 8,564. But the great thing is, after the 5 years are up and we pay for the containers, it will cash flow 15 grand a month. It'll cash flow 200 grand a month, 200 grand a year cash flowing. So my friends, what my point I want to get across to you is that you don't need to have an all singing, all dancing, indoor self-storage to make mega money. Now, if you've got 5 times multiple on this site, making £200,000 a year, that'd be £1 million, £1 million a year site, and you set it up for 20 grand. Would you get 5 times multiple? No, probably not. Unless you was a big group, then you might get 5 times multiple, but not just on one site. But you might get 3 times multiple, 600 grand. 600 grand site in 2 years, and well, obviously you got to be trading a little bit. And yeah, beautiful. And it cash flows 200 grand. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm so excited about this site because I want to get across that you don't need to have loads and loads of money to get into self-storage. And I've been talking to so many people who want to get into self-storage, but are worried about the costs. And yes, like so many people have said to me that I'm doing myself out of business because the more and more I tell people about self-storage, the harder it's going to be for me. But you know what? Who cares? A rising, tide rises all boats. And so I've done well out of self-storage, and I got a message the other day from somebody who's just in self-storage, lost his job during COVID, opened a self-storage, and is now making 100 grand a year from self-storage. And he said, it's because of a podcast. And I'm like, oh, change that man's life. Just one person changing their life. That means everything to me. And I genuinely, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be fine. This is going to be the 6th site. I'm sure I can find more beauties like this around the UK. If it works, I mean, don't forget, it might not work. But if it works, then it means that we're going to be okay. Well, I mean, how much money is enough anyway? And surely, isn't it better that we all do well rather than just one of us does well or some of us do well? I just think it's better if we all do well. Why not? There's plenty. And also, if I'm worried about you and you coming in to disrupt my operations and you being my competition, then I need to look at myself more than I need to look at you. Because if you're a better operator than me, I should be learning from you. I should be putting my ear to the ground and learning as much as I possibly can, learning about sales process, learning about websites, learning about marketing. If you're worried about your competition, then you need to look internally. You need to look at yourself before complaining and bitching and moaning about other people. Yes, it's going to be harder. I mean, just in the last 2 weeks, we've had 2 operators open next to us in 2 of our locations. Oh, 3 in the last 2 weeks. I mean, it might affect us later down the line, but I don't think it will. I don't think it will, because I genuinely believe, as Frederick always says, best in class. We are best in class for customer care and all things like that. So, yep, hopefully this was interesting for some. I know there's going to be people thinking, oh, stop telling everybody about self-storage, Dean. Sorry, mate. And I know there's going to be people thinking, you've talked a lot of gush today because I don't understand any of it, because you've been flipping from, you can see the spreadsheet, so it's all right. You're reading from a spreadsheet and telling us all about it. Yeah, I get that. Sorry, it was all over the place. However, sign up to mrselfstorage.com and I will be showing you this spreadsheet on Friday. So make sure you're actually logged on before Thursday evening, because I schedule it to go out the next morning. And if you're not on the schedule, if you actually subscribe after I've scheduled it, and you don't get the next email, you've got to wait till the next time I schedule it. And hopefully you understand. Right. Hopefully this has been of interest. I really enjoy doing this, because for me, it's a breakdown about, it's just straight away talking about it. It's helped me because the key information I've got there, you can't see it. The key information, I've worked on 30 containers with finance, but it's not 30 containers. I need 60 containers. And so straight away, the numbers were incorrect slightly. And so after year 1, I'm not cash flowing 6,800. I'm cash flowing just over 5,000 because I need another 30 containers. So yeah, so running through it and talking about it helps me, and it stress tests it as well. So yep, happy to answer any questions when you see this spreadsheet on Friday, and let me know. Let me know if I made any mistakes, because, and by the way, the year 4 projections ROI, yes, they will be skewed because obviously asset finance, taking finance, etc. But I'm not bothered about that. I'm bothered about cash flow. That is what I'm bothered about. I'm not bothered about return on investment somewhat of this site, because this site is all about cash flowing. Right, the wife's ringing me now, so I've got to go. Love you, appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow.